Hey everybody, welcome. We are back. We are live. It's episode 4 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I'm Mike Sandoval. We got Tatiana. We got Malik here. We better get into this because this was a very, very interesting show. Malik, started off for this week. What was it for you? And what did you like? What didn't you like? Give us a little heads up.
This was my favorite episode so far. This episode alone beats WandaVision's episode. I mean, I understand the concept, but like the way that this episode was executed was phenomenal. It's a lot to dive into, and then throughout this show, you're gonna hear me kind of gripe and I guess make fun of and poke at John Walker, but I'm just letting you know. So if you are a super big fan of John Walker, cool. But I love Wyatt Russell because he's doing this perfectly. He's playing him to a T. I just don't like John Walker's character. Comic, show, doesn't matter. Tati?
I have to agree. I was so annoyed with John Walker. There was that part where the Wakandians, right? That's what you call them? Wakandians?
Dora Milaje?
Yeah, so that part where, he kind of puts his hand on one of the warriors, that was like a well-deserved fight. He really deserved that fight. I was really into that. But overall, yeah, this episode, it started off slow, and so I was kind of like, I don't really like it. But then once that action scenes, those parts were really intriguing, and to see where it was going, and then how we got that backstory of how Bucky became a good, soldier.
So you were happy to see Carl Fredrickson get his ass kicked?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. Well, elder abuse is okay with you. Not just kidding. But to be honest, I mean, this was definitely, I agree with both of you. This was the best episode. I think that slow part in the beginning kind of is what led off from chapter 3 to chapter 4, episode 4, because it kind of finished that story.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like as soon as we started getting more into it, the action started going faster in it. And really starting to see it's like Wyatt Russell, I think he's doing a good job because he's making you not like the character.
Right.
And the reason why is because you should question who he is and question his motives.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one scene that we got to talk about is okay, after Dora Milaje go in and he tries to be Mr. I'm a superhero with no superpowers. I just could throw a frisbee very, very far. You see where he gets his ass handed to him, and it puts him in his place a little bit. But then Baron Zemo is going after the girl, Carly, I believe her name is, or
Carly,
going after her, and destroys the majority of Super Soldier Serum, and Walker picks up the last vial that's left, and it makes you question, okay, what is his intention? You know what the intentions are,
right?
But it's that was some big steps there, at least to me. The one thing I did want to bring up, though, we do realize that he takes it.
Yeah.
And that reminded me so much. I like the scene between him and Battlestar, Walker and Battlestar, talking about would you take the serum? Reminded me so much of Captain America, the First Avenger, when Steve asked them, hey, what is this all about? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about taking it. When the doctor told him and why he chose him to be the person to get the super serum, super soldier serum, is him, the doctor telling him it enhances who you are. If you're good, it makes you better.
Right.
If you're evil, if you're bad, it makes you worse.
Mm-hmm.
And this really showed and really played very hard into the original movie when we see John Walker with the super soldier serum and how it changed him. I don't know if you guys got that, but
yeah, definitely. Just to kind of backtrack, this is just like the weird nerd brain in me. When they showed the opening scene of Bucky in Wakanda and she's basically stripping the Winter Soldier out of him and, you know, taking that whole spell off of him, basically, the weird, like, nerd in me was like, when exactly did they film this scene? How old is this scene? Did they keep it? Because, you know, his hair is long, and I'm pretty sure he didn't grow his hair back out just to cut it again. So I'm like, did they film this back in 2016? Like, and they just kept it because they knew that they were going to do the show? But I don't know. I don't hold anything against Marvel, but that's just like, I guess, a credit to how far advanced they think of things. But to go off of your point of the super soldier serum, that's exactly why when Sam asked him, what did you do? He's like, oh, they got Lamar. Like, he's not even realizing that Sam immediately knows. But, like, when he was the only person there and Baron Zemo's knocked out, everybody kind of figured, like, that you had to have taken one of the vials. Like, there's no way you knocked him out, and he smashed all the vials before you knocked him out. One thing I did learn earlier today was Carly's actually they switched it. So the Flag Smashers in the comics was an original. It was just one guy, and his name was Carl.
Yeah.
So now they're doing it in a different way, and now it's Carly. But what really started by like frustration of this episode was Sam had her, like they were right there, and he's like, "Oh, this is you guys aren't doing this right," and he keeps going off of like jurisdictions and the military style, which I thought was kind of funny. Another thing that I found hilarious was he went in full military style. They had the pistols out, and he's using the shield as like a riot shield, and I'm like, all you need is the shield. Why do you have a pistol? Like, if you have the Captain America shield, it's
enough.
Bullets bounce off the shield. I don't understand what you needed a pistol for, but it was just like the little things. But building into it, I knew Baron Zemo was going to escape. It's just the simple fact of how he escaped. And I really like the comedic relief of what Sam said. Did he really pull El Chapo?
Yeah, exactly. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I do believe, well, not believe, but I knew that he was going to, Battlestar and John Walker were going to get their butts handed to him. And I think John really reached his breaking point because he's so used to military style. He doesn't know anything about being a superhero. So when Battlestar was helping him up and he was like, they're not even super soldiers. I think that's what kind of broke him into wanting to take the serum, because it's like, I got my butt whooped by some women who aren't even super soldiers. Like, they're plain humans like me. But that just goes to show you he has so much more to learn. But now that he's taking the serum, U.S. agent is almost like stamped and sealed to me.
Yeah. Well, in that part too, what I was thinking was like, oh yeah, you want to wear your big boy pants, you better bring it, because they don't have no superpowers. So there you go. Oh man, Tatis, what's your view on Malik's take?
See, that's the part where I say John Walker deserved that fight, because after, Sam was doing such a good job, and how Malik mentioned he was so close. That was one of the parts that I really wanted to bring attention to, because who knows how it would have been if Carly would have actually spoken out to Sam and told him like the truth of like why she's doing this, or getting answers. But he ruined everything. So after that, I understand why Malik hates him so much. And yeah, I can't stand him now.
Well, the one point that was really cool, and I liked the way they did it, is when Carly calls Sam's sister. And literally, like, it's people talk about the politics of it, but this is a great way of playing it.
Right.
That talking to Sam's sister and talking to Sam, like, you defend a symbol that doesn't defend you. And it makes you think. It's like, oh shit, yeah, that's kind of right on. And then when she calls her, but threatens his nephews, was kind of like, dude, she's like, I could see her going cold-blooded very easily.
Yeah, But I mean, we've touched on it several times throughout this show. Like the way that they're playing out the flag smash, they're on this like tightrope. Like they're doing good for the community, and you can see where they live at and the people that respect them. That's why when they were walking around that building and they were asking for certain people, everybody just kind of looked at them and was like, "No, I'm not going to give them up because that's our heroes. That's people that saved us. You guys are Americans. You guys are over there. These are our heroes. These are the people that protect and defend us." So you can see them playing the tightrope. But when she called her, I was like, "Okay, this is something I want to see. Like, I want to see her either go, because I don't really like the middle of the road type of feel, because you can only play that and you can only write that in the script for so long before it starts to get dead. So I wanted to see her truly like pick a side, do something that you can't really turn back from, either go all the way good or all the way bad, which is where I think John Walker's at, because he almost broke the #1 unspoken rule about being a hero, and it's like, you don't kill defenseless people, whether they're evil or not. No matter what they've done, if they're defenseless and they're surrendering up to you, you take them captive. You don't kill them out of cold blood, even if your friend is dead. Which, I mean, we're speculating. I don't know if he's dead completely. I mean, he hit the thing. He could have just been out cold, because he didn't detect the pulse. He just kind of shook him. And if somebody's out cold, you don't really wake somebody up by shaking them. But so. I think there's a lot. It's so much that happened.
And you know, it isn't like a Latino where you go sana sana colita lana and then suddenly they wake up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was out, and I think he either is hurt really bad and broke his back, or he's dead. They're going to be one of the two. But for what John Walker did and crossing that line. And not even that, crossing that line with people recording him and showing Captain America, who was looked upon by a lot of people that Steve built, with going up with this anger in his eyes and blood on the shield after smashing the guy's chest in. That was just, I never thought Disney would go that route. And it's like they didn't have to show it, but they did a great way of doing it. But I never thought Disney had the guts to allow something like that, and that's what I like. I like that they said, "Do it. We trust you, and go for it." And they did it. And like literally, after you finish watching that one little scene, you're like, you start questioning John Walker's intentions. And then what's going to happen next?
To even touch on it, like the title of the episode was "The World Is Watching." I thought, like before that point, I thought it was because like Wakanda is watching, how Bourne Zemo's out, and everybody's just so happy to be focused on Bucky and Sam, even when they're trying to be undercover, because that's how John in Battlestar filmed them. It's like, you guys think we can't just find you? Like, you guys are in a foreign country, you're the only American. So that's where I thought the whole title came from. Until that last scene, that was just kind of, honestly, it left me speechless, because I didn't know that they were going to go there. I mean, of course, in the movies, it's different, because in the movies, that's where Marvel takes over, not necessarily Disney. But I can see a kid turning away from that scene, because it's just so gruesome without it being so visual. Yeah, without it being seen. Now it's like, I think that is what's going to turn Sam into taking the shield from John. I think Sam was on the fence about it, and I know we talked about it every episode. I think that's the breaking point, because the way that he looked at him, I think is what's going to have him kind of flip the switch of, okay, yeah, he's really undeserving.
Yeah,
I want to be or not, he's undeserving.
Tatis?
Yeah, no, I'm speechless too, guys. It's like the way you guys analyze it, it's like, yeah, it's true.
You're like nerds, man.
I wish. No, I love that. I live for these moments. I love when you go into these into depth, because it makes me understand it, and I'm sure the audience too. But yeah, that scene. I'm trying to remember. I was going to ask too if he was one of the teachers that was there that spoke to Sam. if that was the same guy or if it was a different guy. Like when
No,
Sam was looking for Donya.
no, that wasn't. That was somebody different because he was with. He's pretty much with Carly the whole time.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. I think I know who he is. So he was the
That
other
was
guy.
that was the guy in the cemetery.
Yes. Okay. See. Okay, I was slow there, but yeah, that's the part where I don't know. He looked like a good guy. He didn't seem.
To do a partial flashback, Carly had two people that were like her right hands.
Flashback time.
She had two right hands. The guy that sacrificed himself before they got on that plane to go back to the home country, that was the first guy. And then this guy was the second guy. So now she's by herself. And she was in the crowd actually watched him be brutally murdered like that. So now she's really, I mean, she already wants to kill Captain America anyway, but now she really wants to kill Captain America. But now I want to see how, I mean, I don't know if we'll get it by 5 or 6. We might, because these episodes are so long. But how will she feel towards Sam now? I want to see how that plays out. And then especially if Sam takes the shield, will the flag smash, even if he takes the shield in the last episode or chapter, whatever you want to call it, how are they going to play this into the future shows and movies? Because I'm pretty sure she's not going to just disappear after this.
Mm-hmm.
Play too big of a role for her to only have 6 episodes.
Well, we only have 2 more episodes left, and that's it in this series.
I hate when you remind us, Mike.
Hey, we have to. I mean, if I have a feeling this is going to do a lot better than WandaVision, and we're getting to the point, and if you could already see the pieces and where the start is to where it's going to be the conclusion, what the end of the story is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, I have a feeling is going to be a really key episode that you can't miss, and it's going to lead up to the finale perfectly. That's what I think, at least from what I've seen. But overall, what are your ratings for this episode?
I give it an 8.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Changes are kind of hard. Like, there's only been 2. Well, if I'm going over all of Marvel, there's been 2 recent movies that get an 8 for me, and that was Infinity War and Endgame. But this is a really, really good episode. This was up there.
Yep. So we got an A- from Malik. Tatis?
I think I'll stick to a solid B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the way they start off slow, and then I hate that they wait till the end for the action to come in. But yeah, I'll stick to my solid B.
I am going to go in between both of you and go a B+ for this episode because I still holding my high grades. I've already been burned with WandaVision by giving high grades for certain things. So I'm going to play it safe and go with B+.
The beginning of WandaVision was great. It's a good show when you look at it in its totality, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of, I think it did leave a bad taste in our mouth, especially us as a unit here at MUSE TV. But I think going into the future, in the future shows and movies and everything, it's going to be hard, at least for me. I can't really be mad at Wanda when she fully becomes Scarlet Witch and she starts to do all these evil things. I can't really hate her because I know where it's coming from. Like, I know where it stems from, and I'll be able to appreciate WandaVision better. I just wish if we got this show first, we wouldn't have held WandaVision to such a high standard.
Yeah.
Because this is by far head and shoulders over WandaVision as far as production and writing is going.
Mm-hmm.
From that standpoint alone. So
yeah, it's like we have a story arc in this one, and we know the beats and traditional story arcs are there.
Right.
I think that's a difference in this, what I see in both of those shows. So I guess that's it for this week. Next week, episode 5, we're gonna have to hope. It's almost to the point now where I look forward to every Thursday night at midnight. Because I know, like we do, and just a shameless plug right now, after our This Week in Pro Wrestling, which this week we did a live streamcast of the NXT's Stand and Deliver. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. But I look forward to after we do all the wrestling stuff, that this show is at midnight, and then we get to discuss it because the show's been really, really good.
Mm.
And I think I'm looking forward to 5 and 6 and see where it's going to lead. So, hands down.
Definitely.
Yep. But how can they find you on your socials? Please let them know.
You can find me at Falcon Ox. It's usually I still pointed wrong. It's usually right here.
Wait, I don't even have it up yet. Oh, there it is. There you go.
You can find me at Malik on Ox, all social media platforms, except for LinkedIn and Facebook. It's just one Patterson there.
And Tatis?
Find me at Tatis Yolani. I'm not even going to try because I always fail. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook. What about you?
Cool, man. You can find me here on MUSE TV as MUSE Mike as well, and my personal. But don't go to my personal. There really isn't much that goes up there. Stay on MUSE TV. I post a lot of stuff more on MUSE TV than I do on my personal page. But but next week we'll be back next Friday, 3:30 p.m. We're going to talk about episode 5, and you can't miss it. Don't forget, we have This Week in Pro Wrestling this coming Thursday, where we talk WrestleMania, which starts tomorrow, as well as all the other shows. First, Raw after WrestleMania, which is Monday. NXT's new time slot on Tuesday. We're talking Impact Wrestling, AEW, so stay tuned to that. And we'll see you next week here for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier after show. And we'll see you next time. Talk to you soon.